Hey everybody, Cal here from Birdies and Bourbon. Made a quick stop in Winston-Salem, North Carolina to visit Daniel and our friends over at Broad Branch Distilling. So we're going to go through a couple of pours here, and Daniel's going to share a little about the distillery, kind of what's going on, what to look forward to, and maybe if we're lucky, we might get into a barrel or two. I don't know, we'll see.
A lot of distilleries our size would, it would be 15 to 20 years before they put out a 10-year anything that they distill, just hoping they could keep up with demand as things go.
So 2025, we're going to have a 10-year. Are we going to see, so what's the oldest do you have right now? I know we got a bottle in bond.
Right. So we did our 7-year anniversary rye. We did this one, I want to say, that was another 7-year. By the way, we'll be doing we're doing an 8-year anniversary rye next year, and I think our Super Collider next year, which is going to be an Apple Super Collider, is going to be a 9. And then we're going to be starting a 4-barrel yearly vertical series next year of ryes that were aged in smoked stout barrels. Oh, wow. Next year's will be an 8, and then each year it'll go up a year until we run out. So it'll be 8, 9, 10, and 11.
Nice.
So yeah, that'll be a fun one. Yeah, we got 5-year bourbon coming out in January. It'll be our oldest bourbon. Our bourbon that's coming out in December is 4-year, 10-month. We'll be doing another 5-year bourbon in June. It'll be a cognac finish, and then I think by 2023, our standard bourbon age statement should be 5-year bottled in bond. And then by 2025, the standard bourbon age statement should be 6-year bottled in bond. And that's what, moving forward, anything in like our standard tall bottle with the black label will be 6-year, 100 proof single barrel.
So you're going to stay after the bottled in bond theme then?
Yes.
Yeah, good.
As a part of our kind of normal non-limited release stuff.
Sure.
Most of the limited release stuff will be over 100. So 1-in-1, 1-on-1 and up.
Yeah, gotcha.
But yeah, even, so 2025, as long as everything works out, that'll be the year we do our first single cask rums. And those will be 6-year bottled in bond also.
Nice. Nice. And what are we drinking right now? We're having the Super Collider?
Right. So this was an old limited release of ours. This is a Pear Super Collider. This is sort of a fun style. Not too many people do these.
That was a lot of fun.
It's a fruited rye. So what that means is we cook a rye mash and we co-ferment whatever fruit we decide to use with that rye mash. So you get almost like fruit brandy-esque flavors, but perfectly integrated into the rye. So those fruit elements, as opposed to like finishing in a certain kind of brandy, never dominate the rye. The rye is still at the forefront with some additional like nice fruit notes.
Awesome.
Yeah, it's really good. Yeah, it's not, if you're thinking, a fruity whiskey or a fruit flavored whiskey, it's definitely not, it's whiskey forward, and then you're kind of picking up those,
right.
It's in there, it's hitting you in the mouth, but it's not, hey, that's fruit necessarily. It's faint, but yeah, you can taste it. Yeah, it's great flavor.
Yeah, these are super fun. I was really excited when this year we did a blueberry Super Collider, and they let me put it out at cast strength. So this one's a 7-year-old blueberry fruited rye, and I always like to describe it as, think of port finished rye whiskey.
Sure.
Without the added sweetness of the port finish. So you're getting all those big, bold berry notes,
right,
but you're not getting the increased sweetness. The rye is still at the forefront as like the commanding notes in the whiskey.
He said it so much better than I did. It's exactly what I meant. Exactly what I meant to say.
I mean, they pay me to be able to say that. Yeah, so this one's fun. It's 118 proof, barreled on 9/113, dumped on 2/21/21, and it was barrel number 19. Yeah, one of the things I love about these new labels, and I'm sure the graphic designer hated me, was, me forcing so much information onto the bottle. As with all of our sort of Genevieve bottled spirits, this taller bottle, the full mash bill is right on the back.
Sure.
Like, we tell you exactly what we're putting in there. Granted, I'm not going to tell you the yeast that our distillers use because they'd probably murder me for that. But we try to be as transparent as possible when it comes to this.
Which I think is, I think you're a step ahead. I mean, name the big five, right? I mean, it's like whether we tell you or whether we don't care, right? They've already got the shelf space. But I think from a craft distiller's perspective, and how do you invite people and make it more, welcoming? Hey, here's what we're doing. Right. That transparency. I mean, I think it definitely sits well with potential drinkers.
Right.
So.
And for me, as a long time, whiskey collector or a whiskey nerd, one of the hardest things for small brands for us is to get a consumer to trust you.
Sure.
Like for better or worse, you think of the craft beer industry and everyone thinks craft beer is better. When you start talking about the craft spirits industry, that's not necessarily the case. And it's understandable why craft distillers, struggle, or people don't necessarily love their local craft distiller. This is a very, very hard thing to do, and it's even harder to do it well. So it takes time, it takes a lot of learning and experience, and we're very fortunate that our two distillers kind of took to this like a duck to water. They're both just really, really sharp, and they managed to produce fantastic whiskeys, and I'm always shocked because I'm like, how have you been doing this for so little time and putting out something so good?
And it's working. Yeah, so on the palate, I'm not getting the 118. Well, at the finish, I'm starting to pick up that it's coming out barrel proof.
Right.
It's not. There's no burn. You're not getting the. So I don't know if that's the blueberry that's kind of calming that down for me, or.
I think the age on this, and especially seeing how it was putting at a fairly low barrel proof, like this guy wasn't put into the barrel at 125.
Right.
It went into the barrel like low 100s, so it had like a very kind of gentle aging cycle. The higher water content was probably pulling more of the sweet elements out as opposed to more of the tannic elements. And then I think the blueberry cuts the spice just enough to where that spice isn't falling right on that proof point to make it kind of drink at proof or higher. Yeah,
got a little brandy on the nose-ish. Yeah, it's really, it's real good. So is this, we just tasted a blueberry inside, but that was a liqueur? Or did I totally miss that?
Completely different kind of spirit and like manufacturing process. Yeah. So what you tasted in there was Smashing Violet. That's our blueberry flavored whiskey. That one's, we take a new make bourbon fresh off the still, then press about 1,200 pounds of Eastern Carolina blueberries into it. Right. And that's all that goes into that. Like, we don't believe in coloring, flavoring, or sweeteners, even in the stuff it's legal for us to do it with. We get enough kind of sugar in these just to begin with residual sugars. We don't need to add more. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, this is really nice.
Yeah, these are always a ton of fun. Like I said, next year's is an apple, and that is spectacular. It's spectacular right now. I'm curious what it's going to be like when we dump the barrel.
Yeah.
It's probably over there. We've been doing a lot of reorganizing, and I think Dawn got sort of our next 2 years worth of barrels kind of centrally located. Ideally, sometime in the next few months, we'll be able to start moving some of these out of here into a new facility, but we'll see how that plays out.